Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. Today's Perspectives is a result of a phone call from a dear, respected friend. He was extremely pleased with the recent medical treatment that his wife received. She was addressing a serious health challenge, and through it all, he saw how the medical staff was providing the services, each of them well-trained and skilled. Their care towards her in this very challenging time showed him the blessing they both were receiving. Now, in his phone call to me, he emphatically reflected on what the medical staff had given, what they had done, and what he had witnessed. Their efforts and care, he says, made a major difference in how his wife had made it through her major health challenge. So his next statement was, is there a month, a week, or a day even that recognizes the medical staff, those who give of themselves and care for folks every day? Well, I didn't have an answer for him, but I did have an idea of where to go to find out more. So today's Perspectives is our attempt to recognize and thank the medical staff members who provide the care and services that we need, especially when we're facing life-changing and possibly life-ending health challenges. Our guests today join us from the USA Health Mitchell Cancer Institute. Leanne Bolton, she is a dietitian, nutritionist. Amanda Trulock, a genetic counselor, and Brittany Walker, she's a social worker. Well, after a quick break, we'll hear from our three guests this morning as they share how much they love what they do, how they help patients handle some difficult times in their lives, as their patients deal with those life-changing and possibly life-ending health challenges. Perspectives continues in just a moment. Good morning and welcome back to Perspectives. And as I heard, I shared that story this morning. We understand that you all really make a major impact on the lives of many people. And of course, this happens day after day, not just at one time or one patient. But thank you all for being here today. And this person was emphatic. They wanted to make sure that we recognize what you do. How do you feel when you hear somebody come out and say that? They want to make sure that you all understand how much you are appreciated.
I think it means so much. I mean, there's a reason that we do what we do, and it's because we do care about people. So it means the world when they take the time to respond and let us know that what we're doing has helped or benefited them in some way.
Yeah. And of course, we're talking, Amanda's here. We had to give you three different names. We got Amanda here, Trulock, and Leanne Bolton's in the middle. Leanne, and you both have been in the medical profession for 7 years or more. How does it make you feel when you hear that kind of statement from people who appreciate what you do?
I think it's very kind of people to go out of their way to say those things. Not just to, I think it's kind of us to be acknowledged today, but there are so many of us that are often not acknowledged. And a lot of us need to hear that. A lot of our staff definitely love to hear those words of encouragement because it's not an easy field to work in. So it is encouraging and it's really kind.
And we have Brittany Walker on the end here. Brittany, how does that make you feel after you've made this decision to be in this profession?
It makes me feel good to be acknowledged. We go to work every day to do what we can for our patients to help them out through their journey. So for them to turn around and come back and acknowledge us for the work that we have done to support them through their journey, it means a lot.
And when we talk about the word journey, what does that mean for those who may not be familiar, or just to hear what your thought of that is when you say that word journey?
I think especially where we work at Mitchell Cancer Center, that everyone that's there is on a journey. It's not a quick and easy process. It's not generally going to be a one-time surgery. It's an emotional journey. It's a physical journey. There's a lot of different aspects to it that take a lot of providers kind of being on their team. But I think that that's a great way to describe what all of our patients go through.
And Leanne, you are also a oncology nutrition coordinator at Mitchell.
Yeah.
When I say the word journey, what comes to mind for you?
I immediately think that everybody's is different. So each patient's journey is different on the entire cancer continuum. Some people are treated for cancer for the remainder of their lives, and sometimes, like Amanda said, it's just a surgery and they're done. So everybody's journey is different, and the nutrition challenges that they face are different.
And Brittany?
For me, all the patients that come in to me, they all have their unique barriers. They all have their unique concerns. So on my side, we complete the biopsychosocial. So we're able to identify specific needs and concerns that the patients need on their journey with this. So that looks like maybe emotional support. They may need transportation to actually get to treatments. They may need lodging so that they can stay in Mobile for their treatments. And throughout that entire process, they know that somebody is going to be there with them.
That's a good mention. They're talking about you all are a regional medical institute, and you treating people and caring for people who are from all around, I guess, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that makes a difference when you're dealing with people with different backgrounds and different areas that they're coming from. When we look at your career, why did you make the choice to get into this profession?
I think that I always knew that I wanted to be in a helping field of some sort, and I liked the medical field. Genetic counseling is not a very, it's not a term that a lot of people are familiar with unless you've encountered a genetic counselor usually. But I really loved genetics, and I loved that there was a psychosocial aspect to it that's just as important as the kind of nuanced science part of it. And so it was just a great fit.
For those who aren't familiar, give us a definition of what exactly you do.
So genetic counselors are medical professionals who take family histories, take medical histories, and if it's appropriate, then we offer genetic testing. Once we get results back, we help interpret those results and kind of figure out what to do with them, what they mean, and how they impact patient care.
Leanne, why did you decide to get into this profession?
So similarly, I knew that I wanted to be in a field where I could help people. I'm passionate about food and nutrition, but my joke is that I'm not like the other dietitians. I'm a fun dietitian because a lot of the time I get to help people gain weight and modify foods so that they're more palatable or change the flavor profile of food. So I really get to help people manage the side effects of their cancer treatment, and it's a very rewarding job to have, to help people enjoy meals with their family again, or find something that tastes like it should.
Exactly. That's very important, especially if you're in the hospital and then even after you have left, that the food has a pleasing taste and you want to eat that. That's very important. And Brittany, why did you make that decision 4 or 5 years ago, I guess, or maybe 8 years ago, right?
Well, similar to the other ladies, I always knew I wanted to be in a helping field. I actually originally wanted to do nursing, but then I decided that I wanted to do something more personable, to have a greater impact that lasts with the patients. So I went into social work and I transitioned. I stayed in medical with social work. And it's just been a rewarding career. I'm able to be there from the beginning to the end, meet people where they are, assist them with all the resources, the needs. Some of them have nobody, and I'm who they go to for a lot of things. So just to be that person for someone is very rewarding. So I'm glad that I did switch over and choose social work.
Well, you can hear you all's hearts as you all are sharing about this. Now, when you talk about the Mitchell Cancer Institute, you're not talking about just a normal, regular hospital. How did you move into that direction?
I think that there is cancer genetics is a huge subset of what genetic counselors do. There are other genetic counselors in pediatrics and reproductive health. But I was most interested in cancer genetics because I feel like you don't just impact the cancer patients, you impact their families significantly as well. And a lot of times it's very actionable, the results that you're able to give people. You're able to, essentially save lives at some point by offering screening and management to reduce and mitigate any cancer risk, increased cancer risk that we figure out a person has based off of their genetic testing.
Leanne?
So I was in the hospital when I first started practicing, and it was hard for me to form relationships with patients and educate them on certain things, and then they would leave. And I have no clue what happened to them after that. So I really enjoy the continuity of care that we have at Mitchell. I get to see patients sometimes on a weekly basis, but I get to establish those relationships, and they can last for years with patients. So I really enjoy getting to help, I feel like, change some of their behaviors and improve their quality of life, for sure.
And do you usually get follow-up calls from them wanting to know, Leanne, tell me about this, what do you think about this? Why is
Absolutely,
this?
yeah, absolutely, yeah, which I love. I love it.
And Brittany, when you look at where you could be, compared to where you are now, what was the reason for that?
Well, I believe that oncology chooses you. You don't really choose oncology. I came from hospice, so I've seen all different sorts of illnesses. Oncology was just something that kind of happened, and I love it. I'm glad that it did happen. And like Leanne said, the continuity. The patients, I still have patients that they're no longer in care, but they still call just to say, hey, thank you so much for this. You guys were amazing. You helped me through then they send their family, they send their friends. So it's long-lasting relationships. It's a very, very rewarding field to be in.
Well, hold that point. When we come back, we're going to talk more about what you left from, the hospice. I had an opportunity to see a friend in that recently, and so we'll talk about that and share that. All right, well, ladies, you're our very special guest today as we're hopefully putting some attention and spotlight on to our medical professionals today on Perspectives, and we return in just a moment. And welcome back. We're talking to 3 medical professionals today who are all 3 with the Mitchell Cancer Institute, and we're talking to Leanne Bolton, Brittany Walker, and Amanda Trulock. They're our very special guests today. And Brittany, we were talking a little bit about your transition from hospice to now being at the in oncology as a social worker. Tell us a little bit about that hospice for those who aren't familiar. That is really a time that you see a very, I guess, special part of a person's life at the end.
Yes. So hospice, as most people know, is end-stage care. So on my level as a social worker going into hospice, we pretty much just go into the home, provide assistance to the family, we provide the resources. A lot of them need a lot of emotional support and care. So we just go in and do what we can and just be there for them in their end days.
And what does that mean to you as a medical professional doing that?
I actually loved it. It's one of those fields that you either can or you can't. I loved hospice. I actually still do hospice PRN. So it's something that's near and dear to me as well.
Well, I know that the place that you were, and a friend of mine, he and his wife, they spent his last week or so there, and they just were so appreciative of the care they received at that facility. It just meant a major difference in their lives at a time when so needed. Well, when you talk about the people that you are providing the care to, what is about, I guess, them? Do you say that one stands out more than the other of the patients when they come in, or you all develop a rapport? How does it happen to where they fall into place?
So I think it's important to try to develop rapport with every patient, particularly because I feel like they need to be able to trust us, and you need that to happen very quickly. And so developing rapport is something that we try to do with every patient from the get-go, and try to take interest in other things in their lives that are going on, and just kind of get to know them on an individual level, not just what's your diagnosis and what are we doing about it.
Now, when you talk about being a genetic counselor, is this something that's I wouldn't say fairly new, but new in the overall type of care and information that's provided through in this case through the Cancer Institute?
Yeah, it's definitely a newer field. It's not brand new. It's been around for a few decades, but the cancer genetic space is newer. That's really kind of come about. It started in the mid 2000s. And we started testing for the BRCA genes originally. Those were the first ones that we tested for, and that was
What
it.
exactly those who may not know?
So the BRCA genes, BR is for breast and C is for cancer. So they are high risk. They're genes that are actually supposed to be protecting you from cancers, but if someone has a mutation in one of them, they can be predisposed to a higher risk for breast and ovarian and prostate cancers.
And those are the ones we hear about being very aggressive, right?
Right. Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay. I didn't want to cut you off there. Go ahead and finish what you were sharing about that.
So as far as the rapport building goes, and just, I think it's important to get to know each patient on an individual level, because the reason that we're there is to be there for people, and so you need to know them to be able to be there for them.
And Leanne, you sort of shared a little bit about that as you were talking about what happens in that relationship and how you like to be able to continue that. Is that a part of what you see there at the beginning when you're first meeting some of your patients?
Sure. I certainly try to build rapport with patients, especially if I know that they will be. So, for example, we have some patients that come for treatment 5 days a week for 6 or 7 weeks. And their treatment often has several nutrition-related side effects. And so I try to meet with them before they even start the treatment, because I know that they will need help throughout and months afterward. And so if I can build that rapport and that relationship even before treatment starts, and I'm a trusted ally of theirs, then I think that they will tolerate their treatment better, and they'll utilize me as a resource, which is absolutely why I'm there.
And how long has that been going on in your profession? Is this also something that's been going on for a few decades, or?
Nutrition and cancer care?
Right, as far as the expertise that you provide.
A few decades. However, Mitchell Cancer is really, we're set apart because not many cancer centers have dietitians. We are far and few between in the world of oncology, and we're lucky to have an administration that understands and sees the value of dietitians in the cancer field. So we have another dietitian that works with me. So it's newer, but our administration is behind us 100% and knows the value of it.
So not everybody's doing it, but you
No,
all are offering that.
That's right.
And you're on top of it as a coordinator there at the Mitchell Cancer Institute, and of course dealing with those special needs that the patients may have. Now, Brittany, for you also, that you're looking at how long has social, I guess a social worker been a part of this type of situation in cancer institutes?
I think it's been around for a while. And like Leanne said, we just try to set ourselves apart. So we do what we can to ensure that we provide top notch, so that we are the very best.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, you, I guess, do you have other markers to judge what you're offering to people in comparison to what you at the Mitchell Cancer Institute provide?
Well, at Mitchell, we're a small team, but we are a mighty team. So we make sure that we do collaborations out in the community. So we have a lot of community resources that have our backs. We do things with the national foundations. I have joined ACS as an ambassador for the Voices program. So we go out and make those connections to make sure that if there's a resource that is available, more times than not, we will find out about it sooner because we have gone out and established those connections for our patients.
Okay, we only have a couple of minutes left. Share a word that you want to someone who's watching today, convince them to consider coming to Mitchell where you are.
Sure. Mitchell is a place where everybody is family. So when you come into Mitchell and you're scared, you don't know where to go, you have me, you have the other social workers, so we're there for the emotional part of it. Any barriers that you may have, we can assist you. We can send you over to Leanne if you're having dietitian concerns. If you think that, hey, is this hereditary, did this come from somewhere, we can send you over to Amanda, get those tests done to see where it came from, if it's possible that you could pass it down. And we have amazing other disciplines in the office as well that help patients to navigate their way through. So overall, it's a very, very good experience to come to Mitchell.
All right. Leanne?
The word that comes to mind is light. Like we are a light. Our office is quite literally very bright and sunny all the time. But also I think about the burden that we try to take off of patients, whether it's with social issues or like helping you find housing or how you're going to get to the cancer center, or food. I try to lighten patients' burden for sure. And I think that that's why we are all there.
Yeah.
All right. And Amanda?
I would kind of piggyback on that and say warm. I think that was one of the first things that I noticed when I walked into Mitchell Cancer when I was interviewing, was just I've never walked into a hospital institution before where everyone was so kind and smiling and happy to see you, and made a point to speak to you. Usually in bigger institutions, people are in a hurry and running around and disconnected and don't necessarily speak to everyone, don't know everyone. But I think Mitchell is just the right size where we're big enough that we have a lot of resources, but small enough that we kind of know everybody and have great connections with everybody, and are able to really go the extra mile for patients.
Well, ladies, we thank you all for coming and sharing today, and definitely want to make sure that you understand you are appreciated with what you do. And our friend I told you about, he definitely wanted to make sure that you understood that completely. And if you want more information about the Mitchell Cancer Institute, there it is there. You can contact them online, as well as the phone number to call for more information as well. Well, we thank you so much for being here today, and we thank you for joining us on this latest issue of Perspectives. We'll see you next time.